The streets of New York glistened under the heavy rain, the kind that soaked through even the best umbrellas. Alexander Reed pulled his coat tighter, his leather shoes splashing through shallow puddles as he made his way down Fifth Avenue. The city was alive, horns blaring, neon lights flashing, people hurrying past with their umbrellas like tiny moving fortresses. But for Alex, it all felt strangely muted. He had just closed another $1 million deal, yet the victory felt hollow, like an echo in a cavern. He was a man who had everything: the penthouse overlooking Central Park, the private jet, the respect and fear of every competitor in the industry, but no one to share it with, no warm laugh to greet him when he walked through his front door, no little voice calling daddy and running into his arms. His parents were long gone. The one woman he had loved years ago had left, unable to live in the shadow of his workaholic life. Since then, he had buried himself in business, mistaking success for fulfillment. That night, as he turned a corner, his eyes caught something unusual, a small figure standing under the pale glow of a street lamp. It was a little girl, maybe 7 years old, her brown hair plastered to her face by the rain. She was shivering, clutching a worn teddy bear whose fur was matted and missing patches. Alex slowed down. Why would a child be standing alone in the rain at this hour? He approached cautiously, lowering his voice so as not to scare her. "Hey, are you lost? Where's your mom or dad?" The girl looked up at him, her eyes wide and glassy with tears, and then she asked the question that would pierce through every wall he had built around his heart. "Can you be my daddy for one night?" Alex froze. For a moment he wasn't sure he'd heard her right. The rain pattered against the pavement, the traffic roared in the distance, but in that instant the world seemed to go quiet, waiting for his answer. Why would you say that?" he asked gently, crouching so they were at eye level. She sniffled, hugging the teddy bear closer. "Tonight is the dad and daughter dance at my school. All the girls are bringing their dads, but my daddy's in heaven now. Mommy tried to find someone to go with me, but everyone was busy." Her voice trembled. "I just didn't want to be the only one there without a dad." Alex felt something shift inside him, a crack in the armor he'd worn for years. He could have walked away. He could have said it wasn't his place. But the truth was he saw himself in her, a child who once longed for the presence of someone who was never there. Alex glanced at his watch. He had planned to head home, pour a glass of whiskey, and review tomorrow's meetings. But suddenly none of that mattered. "I'd be honored to take you," he said softly. Her eyes lit up instantly, as if someone had flipped a switch inside her. They stopped at a nearby boutique. Alex told the shop attendant, "She needs the prettiest dress you have in her size, and shoes to match." The girl's mouth fell open as she looked around at racks of satin, lace, and sequins. She chose a soft blue dress that shimmered when she moved and a pair of silver ballet flats. "Do I look okay?" she asked shyly when she emerged from the dressing room. Alex's throat tightened. "You look perfect." He ducked into the men's section and bought a crisp navy suit and a tie to match her dress. The two of them must have looked odd to the cashier, a drenched businessman and a glowing little girl in a party dress, but Alex didn't care. They arrived at the school gym, where colorful streamers hung from the ceiling and fairy lights twinkled like tiny stars. A DJ played cheerful music while fathers spun their daughters around the floor. The moment they walked in, heads turned. Some of the dads gave curious glances, but the little girl ignored them all. She proudly led Alex to her friends. "This is my daddy," she announced, "just for tonight." Alex wasn't used to such introductions. He was used to being called Sir, Mr. Reed, or CEO, but in that moment, nothing had ever sounded sweeter than Daddy. When their song started, she stepped onto his shoes so she could keep up, her small hands gripping his. He moved slowly, letting her lead the joy. Her giggles rang out, mixing with the music. For the first time in years, Alex laughed, not the polite laugh he gave at corporate dinners, but a real, deep laugh that came from somewhere long forgotten. Halfway through, she rested her head against his chest. "It feels nice," she whispered. "What does?" he asked. "Having someone to dance with who loves you." Alex swallowed hard. If only she knew. "I'm the one who needed this more than anything." When the dance ended, Alex walked her home. The rain had stopped, and the night air was cool and fresh. They reached a small, modest apartment building where a woman stood waiting on the steps, her mother. She looked worried at first, but relief softened her features when she saw her daughter skipping toward her. "I hope she wasn't any trouble." The woman said, "Not at all." Alex replied, "She was. The best part of my day." The girl hugged him tightly, the teddy bear squished between them. "Thank you, Daddy," she whispered. Alex froze again, but this time it was different. He wasn't shocked, he wasn't unsure, he just felt full. As he walked back toward his car, he glanced over his shoulder. The girl and her mother were standing in the doorway, waving. That night, when Alex returned to his penthouse, it didn't feel so empty. The city lights twinkled outside, but his focus was on something else entirely, the warmth still lingering from that little girl's hug. He realized that while he had spent his life chasing numbers and status, what he had been searching for was connection, and he had found it, not in a boardroom, but in the eyes of a child who just wanted someone to stand beside her for one special night. From that day on, Alex made sure it wasn't just one night. He stayed in touch, visiting often, helping her with school projects, and even joining them for Sunday dinners. The man who once had everything but felt nothing had finally found the one thing money could never buy. Alexander Reed began that rainy evening as a man surrounded by wealth but starved of true connection. A single question from a little girl, "Can you be my daddy for one night?" pierced through years of emotional walls, pulling him into a moment of pure human love. What started as an act of kindness for a stranger became the turning point in his life, reminding him that joy isn't found in boardrooms or bank accounts, but in the warmth of shared moments. That night, he didn't just fill the role of a father for her. She unknowingly became the light that filled the empty spaces in his own heart. And as their lives continued to intertwine, Alex learned that sometimes the smallest request can lead to the greatest gift of all, belonging.